Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch 2. It has been out for over a week now, and I have spent some time with it, so I feel comfortable giving my opinion about it, and we'll go ahead and dive right into it. So the enhancements over the original Switch, the first thing you're going to notice is the screen. The screen is bigger, it has better colors, it's 1080p, so it has a better resolution, and it also supports up to 120 frames per second. So this is a very good upgrade compared to the original Switch, and that's the first thing you're going to notice is the screen. And then the second thing you'll notice is the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are slightly bigger than the Switch 1. The buttons are bigger, so it's more comfortable to play with the Switch 2. As you see, I have transferred all of my Switch 1 games that have been transferred to the Switch 2 because I plan on playing all my Switch 1 games that I haven't finished yet. I'm planning on playing them here on my Switch 2. And the Switch does come with a system transfer, so I was able to transfer my saves, my profile, and everything from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2. So if you have a Switch 1 and you're planning on upgrading, you can bring all your stuff along. It's very easy. It's similar to how you, when you replace an iPhone gives you that backup and then that transfer and restore into the new iPhone. So the Switch 2 does the same thing. It does a good system transfer from the original Switch. Graphics are another improvement. The GPU is much better, so games look better and play better on the Switch, including Switch 1 games. So Switch 1 games look better and feel better on the Switch, so obviously because of the size of the screen, better color, but the emulation also plays better. So if you have a Switch 1 game that was struggling with frame rates, it's very possible that when you play it on the Switch 2, you won't have those issues anymore because the Switch 2 is providing its full capability to the emulation that's running Switch 1 games. Some Switch 1 games have received updates. I believe Super Mario Odyssey got an update. This game looks much better, like a lot better than it used to. Very clear, colors look nice, and I've been having a blast playing this game again. I started all over from the beginning. I beat this game many years ago, and I started playing all the way from the beginning again, just because it's so much fun to play, and it's a really good game. And look, it loads really quick. Look at that. So it loaded. Another big enhancement on the Switch 2 is also the speakers. Let me turn that up a little bit, see if you can hear. But the speakers have a better like stereo sound or better surround sound kind of feeling. So you can hear those speakers. Or maybe not because I'm speaking through a mic, but the all right, so you can hear the speakers there. So it's a great improvement over the speakers of the Switch 1. So that's another improvement. And like I mentioned, Switch 1 games play better. And then there's also what we call Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Switch 1 games. One of those games is Zelda, so both of the Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, have been upgraded for Nintendo Switch 2. It's not a free upgrade. I believe the upgrade is $9.99 if you want to buy it. But if you have the Nintendo Online membership, so if you're already a member of Nintendo Online, it's included. What you do is when you go to look at the package, do not buy it. There's going to be an option to download it because you're a member of Nintendo Online. So for as long as you're a member, you can get this package for free. So I didn't pay any money to get the Switch 2 edition of Zelda. Zelda plays much better now. You're getting a much better resolution. And frame rates, I believe you're getting 60 frames per second, and the resolution is 1440p when you're playing in dock mode, and in handheld I believe it's 1080p, which is still an improvement from the experience on the Switch 1. So you can see, look how, well, let me go in before I get hit by lightning, but I wanted to show how smooth that looks. Look how smooth. Look at the frame rate. Another thing, the Switch 2 also supports HDR. So if the game supports HDR, it will be supported on the Switch 2. Switch 2 will be able to display HDR. Now I heard that the nit on the screen, the nit is the way they measure HDR, which is the brightness of HDR, is not on par with the TV, but you should get some HDR effects in the Switch 2. So we talked about some of the improvements to the Switch 2. We'll talk about the price in a little bit, but let's talk about the cons, like what the things I don't like. And one of the things that I don't like is the battery life. I think that when I play Zelda, I'm getting maybe 2 hours, maybe slightly over 2 hours. Now I have never drained the battery, so I don't know yet what the full, how much time I'm actually getting, but I'm estimating that I'm getting slightly over 2 hours. And reports on the internet is that most people are getting over 2 hours when playing, slightly over 2 hours when playing Zelda or one of the other Switch 2 games. Okay, so let's take a look at the battery. So it was a 95% when I started this video. It's down 91%. So like you see, it has drained quite a bit. What I'm reading is that this is normal. That's just the battery life of the Switch, and it depends on the game. Some games that require a lot of processing, they're going to drain the battery quicker, and then some games probably not going to drain it as much. Probably something like if you're playing like Rayman, like 2D side scroller, like Rayman, that's probably not going to eat a lot of battery at all. Okay, so we talked about battery. What else? Another con or another thing to pick on the Switch 2 is the lack of games. There is a lack of AAA games for the Switch 2 at launch. It barely doesn't have any games. The only Switch 2 games I have obviously are the Zelda Switch 2 edition, and then the Mario Kart World, which came with the bundle that I bought. So this is like the big game. This is the flagship game right now. This is the system seller, and it's a good game. I have enjoyed it. I played it quite a bit, and it's a good game. So if you're thinking about buying, if this is as good as Mario Kart 8, I believe so. I feel like it doesn't have as many tracks as Mario Kart 8, but there's a lot of improvements in this game to make it feel really nice, and it feels like it's the next evolution of the Mario Kart franchise. So price is $449 for the Switch, $449 for the console by itself. If you get the bundle with Mario Kart World, it's going to be $500, and which I think is worth it. I don't want to pay $80 for Mario Kart World. If you buy it standalone, it's going to be $80. So I'd rather get it with the bundle, and that's what I did. Now the price, when Nintendo first announced the price of the Switch 2, I complained about it. I was like, that's kind of high. I was still going to buy it, but it was kind of high for a portable system that it is less powerful, a lot less powerful than a PlayStation 5, and a lot less powerful than an Xbox. So because of that, I thought the price was high, but now that I have had time to play the Switch, is it worth it? Yes. Switch 1 games play better and look better and sound better. Switch 2 games so far are, Mario Kart World has been, pretty nice to play, almost impressive, I would say. and also the Switch 2 editions of Zelda. That's definitely impressive for sure. So is it worth it? I believe so. Yes. They said it's a high price now. There's a lack of games right now, and I know that they have games like Cyberpunk is available on the Switch 2, and also Street Fighter 6. The problem for me is that I already own those games on another platform, that it is on another console that's more powerful than the Switch 2. So I did not want to buy those games and play pretty much a downgraded version of Cyberpunk, because that's what it is on the Switch 2. Cyberpunk is running at 30 frames per second when I get to play it at 60 frames per second on my Xbox Series X. So for somebody like me who already owns a lot of games on other systems, then there's definitely not a lot of games available for me on the Switch 2 because, like I said, those AAA games are already on another platform. So there it is, the Switch 2. Those are my thoughts on it. I believe that the haptic feedbacks as well are very nice. You can feel everything. Just the haptic feedback is very nice. It's comparable to the DualSense controller. So if you like the DualSense controller, if you like the haptic feedback on the DualSense, you would definitely like that here on the Switch 2. So there it is. I just wanted to share that with all of you. We'll catch you in the next one. Click like and subscribe, and have a good evening.